I know there's another really big hit that was kind of, oh, hello. I'll allow you to introduce it, Megan, because I know it was something you particularly enjoyed with it, period piece.
Oh, I have to go through my notes. So I know it's like 22 shows, and I'm like, which one? I assume we are talking about Shouwa Genroku Rakugo Shinjuu.
Yeah.
Which is a big, giant mouthful, which is why I keep calling it Showa, because it's Showa era. It takes place in the Showa era in like the 1970s or something. So we're going back.
Yeah, which is really cool because
I love that.
We don't see much anime in that time, and it also set in reality. Oh, surprise, yeah.
So basically, it's this show about a hardened criminal. He's probably part of the Yakuza. They don't specifically say what he's done or what group he's a part of, but he's a gangster. He's just gotten out of jail, and he wants to turn his life around. And what inspired him to turn his life around was a comedian who does the Rakugo style of comedy, came to the prison, performed, and he's like, I want to do that. That's amazing. But we have to explain what Rakugo is, because if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of confusing. Yeah. So in my copious notes, I actually have the official definition. Bear with me. Rakugo, which literally means fallen words, is a form of Japanese verbal entertainment. It involves a lone storyteller who sits on a stage, or he sits on a cushion, and he sits seiza style, meaning he sits on his heels, which is really uncomfortable. I've done it. If you do it for long periods of time, it's gonna hurt. So using only a paper fan, and yeah, exactly. That cushion is important. Using only a paper fan and a small cloth as props, and without standing up from the seiza sitting position, the artist depicts a long and complicated comical story, which usually involves the dialogue of two or more characters, the difference between the characters depicted only through change in pitch, tone, and a slight turn of the head. It's a really difficult comedic style to do, and I've seen it on NHK, and for years I was like, I don't get it. What is this about? Like, why are they joking with the audience, and then they launch into this story? And that's how it is you sit in front of the audience, you kind of get a feel for them, you tell them jokes to see what they laugh at, and then you decide your story, and you launch into the story. And only old men do it, but the premise of this is that this young Yakuza member, he loves it. He thinks it's the greatest thing ever. So he goes to like the master of this comedy style, Yakumon, and he's like, please teach me how to do this because I have a giant man crush on you and I want to be just like you when I grow up. And it's all about his journey to becoming a comedian. But part of that is there's a side story that's sort of like this dark mystery. Like the female character, whose name I did not write down because I'm dumb, sort of hints that Yakumo, she accuses him of killing her father, but doesn't say how. Like, if that's the case, then why the heck is she at that particular building under his care? Like, there's this whole mystery on top of things.
I'm gonna go live with my father's murderer, BRB.
Yeah, okay, BRB. Yeah. YOLO. But yeah, so there's this mystery about who Yakumo is, and then there's Kyoshi, the MC, who's the most adorable, like, MC ever. I love him. He's so sincere and earnest, but he's kind of a klutz, and he's kind of not good at this whole comedy thing. So,
baby.
So it's like he's tries really hard, but like at one point, like during his mentor's performance, he falls asleep and basically almost gets drop kicked out of the school. It's like little things like that where it's, whoops, that's not a good way to start your career.
Right. So what I liked about this, so this was a like 47, so like an hour with commercial breaks episode. So it's like a longer, I don't know if every episode's going to be that long or it's just the premiere episode.
I'm not sure. I think it was just the premiere.
I think it's just the premiere.
If it's not, then that's really cool.
I saw that time. I don't often watch anime that's like not an anime movie that is broken up into that episode format. So I was like, that's a lot of minutes. But
that's almost 60 minutes.
That's 17 more minutes than I was ready for. Like, so I think even with the barrier to entry, it's, at least for me, because I didn't know what Rakugo was at all. From your description, I feel like I would really like it. Just the whole like, okay, let me tell you a story, guys. Yeah. Because that's kind of what I do when I return to my friends after, like, I go to an IGN party. I'm like, all right, you guys ready for this?
I'm going to act the whole thing out.
Yeah, you get really into it. But I found the main character really charming immediately, even though, like, he's this hardened criminal, and, like, clearly, you don't know what he's done, but clearly he's done something not great.
Yeah.
He was in prison, right? Like,
yeah.
Probably did something.
He did more than steal candy. We'll put it that
way.
Right.
He probably No, later. I think it'll come up.
I feel like it'll come up. But so my point is, I, even not knowing what Rakugo was right away, I really enjoyed it immediately. Like I wasn't like, okay, what's going on? What is this? Like I think it did a good job of kind of introducing what it was. Not introducing what it was, but it didn't alienate me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So like even if if you've never seen it, I know Megan has seen it on NHK, but like if you don't have no concept of what Rakugo is, you could give this one a try, I think.
Also, mild spoilers, but they do a story in the episode, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a thing I was like concerned about. I was like, well, it's this anime. Like usually you have a lot of action and stuff, but they portray it really well. Like they do an amazing job of portraying, what the essence of Rakugo is and like how it, the person, telling the story conveys their emotions to the audience. And I even found myself like laughing at the story too. I was just like, oh, this is funny,
Yeah. Yeah. Now I can go watch it and be like, okay, now I understand how this works. Maybe I'll appreciate it more.
Yeah. And it does feel like it's going to be a little bit heavier with some drama later on.
Yeah,
but,
definitely. Can't wait.
This year, try something new with anime. Like, get a show you wouldn't normally watch and just give it a try. Like, so like this is a period piece, so like maybe won't interest everybody. And it's a seinen, but absolutely check it out. Yeah, I think it's a good. Give it a try.
It's a good palate cleanser. It's different from it. There's no magical girls. There's no lasers. There's no super action, but it provides you with really great characters and
a little bit
educational. Yeah,
in a way. Yeah.
I also like, just really quickly, seeing period pieces in anime because the only period pieces I've ever really seen are ones set in the U.S. or even, like, maybe Britain. And so it's cool to see, like, an era that I'm used to picturing it one way and seeing it a different way. For me, I like that experience of going into something and be like, oh, this is the 70s, and it's not the 70s, like, as I would think of it.
Right.
I always find that interesting. So that's another thing, like, maybe if you're like, what is Rakugo? I don't even care. That might be another reason to check it out, is you get to see kind of how does this era look from a different perspective.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah, so check it out and let us know what you guys think.